students, we are doing today biotic and abiotic factors and their role in the environment. So first we are doing the biotic factors, that is the producers. What is their role? Producers are all the green plants, all the forests, trees, etc. So what they do is they give us oxygen, they take our carbon dioxide and they keep balance between the two. They also form a habitat for many organisms and animals. Then they have roots which anchor the trees to the ground, so they increase the water holding capacity, reduce soil erosion, etc. They bring about transpiration, which in a long run contributes to the hydrological cycle or the water cycle. They give us useful things, like there are many, more than 50 forest products which we utilize in our day-to-day life. Now the second one is the consumers. Consumers are all heterotrophs which cannot make their own food, so they will depend on the producers. All animals and plants, non-green plants, are consumers, but they still have a role to play because they form source of food for other higher consumers. Now they also give us some products like ivory or fur, skin. We use their products in our daily life. They also keep a balance in nature because they eat the producers, and the consumers, the higher consumers eat the lower consumers. They also contribute in keeping the natural cycle in balance. Now the third we have is decomposers. When any plant or animal dies, then the decomposers have a role to play. What they do is they change the organic matter from our body into simple substances like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. So in this way, they keep the environment clean. If they were not there, then there will be heaps of dead bodies lying here. So they are, most example, fungi and bacteria. Last time I have told you how they work in a food chain. If any plant or animal dies, they will act on them. They do not come at the last in the food chain. Now these are the three biotic factors or biotic components. Now we'll be learning some abiotic factors, that is non-living things which influence the organism's life. So first we have soil. As we all know, every food chain starts in the soil because it starts with a green plant or a producer. So actually every food chain is dependent on the soil. So a plant grows, it is eaten by a herbivore, and a herbivore is eaten by a carnivore. So the plant derives all the nutrients or minerals from the soil. So soil plays a very important role in the nutrition of the plant and indirectly the nutrition of the herbivore and carnivores. Now secondly, it is a raw material. Soil is a raw material for many industries, for pottery, then house, brick making, construction, etc. It also keeps the proper pH, and it is very good raw material for agriculture. Then because of its porous nature, the soil has a very high water holding capacity, so which can hold air as well as water, which is very important in production of crops or yield. Now next we have is water. Without water there won't be life, because our body or all the organisms' body is made up of water. So water is life sustaining abiotic factor. So if there is no water, there won't be metabolism. So all the metabolic activities in our body, like digestion or respiration, breathing, all these, even in plants like photosynthesis, respiration, etc., they require water. So all the metabolic activities will take place only if there is water in the cells. So if there is dryness, we have dehydration, or even the plants will dry because of dry and die because of transpiration, and there's no water in the ground. Now the next is, water is also a habitat for many animals, aquatic animals, and some animals also have a dual life, like frog and other amphibians. They will live in water as well as on land, so it is a habitat for many animals. And plants, some aquatic plants also grow there. So it is a solvent. It is called a universal solvent because many things dissolve in water except paints and some other things, but most of the things dissolve in water, so it is called a universal solvent. And this property helps because it also dissolves gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and also it dissolves nutrients or minerals. So it's very important for the fish and other aquatic animals. They cannot take in oxygen from the air, they take it as dissolved oxygen. So it also helps them to survive in water. Then water takes up heat very slowly and it releases it very slowly. So this magical property of water makes it important for the formation of sea and land breezes. This you all will be learning more in geography. So land breezes are during the night time, and sea breezes occur during the daytime. So this is because of the property of water to release heat and absorb it very slowly. Water is very important as a raw material for photosynthesis also. The next one we have is light and temperature. Light and temperature goes hand in hand, or we cannot isolate the two of them because they work together. Though the effects are little different, everyone knows that light is very important for photosynthesis, so it has some different effects on plants and animals. Let us see both on plants first and then on animals. It is very important for photosynthesis, so where there is more light, there will be more photosynthesis taking place in the plant. If there is less light, there will be this will decrease. The amount of photosynthesis taking place will decrease. The second thing is, it's very important for production of growth hormone in the plants. There are auxins, etc. So this hormone will be produced only when there is a proper good intensity of light. Then the development will be depending on the growth hormone. So in a other way we can say development will be depending on the light. Then the third is, it is very important for the growth of tissues. Synthesis of chlorophyll also takes place in presence of sunlight. What happens is, when there is more sunlight, the chlorophyll synthesis will be more, and when it is less, it will be less. But they are all green plants. They will have it in the body for their functioning. Sunlight is important. The next is opening and closing of stomata. You must have seen the stomata is just an opening. It is surrounded by two guard cells. These two guard cells will open and close it. When there is more sunlight in the morning, 8 o'clock, it will be slightly open. By 10, 11, 12, it will be wide open. So more the sunlight, it will help in opening and closing of the stomata. So in the evening again, the stomata will close because there is no light. The blooming of fruits and flowers, all these formation of fruits, all this will depend on light again. So formation of fruits, flowers, seeds, all depend on light. Now coming to the effects of light on animals, all the metabolic processes will be depending on the light. Sometimes you must have seen, if there is a gloomy day, we don't feel well, or sometimes it is a good sunshine, we feel happy. So actually what is happening in our body, it's reacting to the outer environment. So all the metabolic processes will be normal if there is proper sunlight in animals, and otherwise they'll decline, or they might be, if there's more sunlight it will increase. The reproduction or breeding also depends on light in different lower forms or lower animals. Then we have migration, like migration also depends on sunlight. Pigment formation also depends on sunlight, like the skin color of the animal will depend on pigmentation or pigment formation. Because this one example I can give you, in the deep sea or in the lower layers of the ocean, light doesn't reach, so the skin color of the fish there is dark black. As you come up higher and higher, the skin pigmentation is different. We have silver color fish. If you come more higher above, then we have colorful fish. If you go scuba diving and all, you can see there are colorful fish around everywhere. So it all depends on the light. The next is effect of temperature. Temperature effect and light effect is similar. Why I'm saying temperature and effect of light is similar or same, because when there is more light the temperature will be high, when there is less light the temperature will be low. So the effect will be similar, like enzymes will work best. Enzymes will work at the optimum limit at high temperature. Then growth, reproduction will depend on temperature. So more temperature, this we are talking about temperature now, it will be better. Growth and reproduction will depend on temperature. Then in some lower forms like turtles, tortoise and all, the gender of the animal depends on the temperature. At normal temperature the gender will be females. Females will be born. Eggs are there, so they'll turn into females if the normal temperature is there, and if there's high temperature the gender of the animal or the offspring will be males. Now also the life cycle depends on the temperature of the animals. So till this much, you just go through the notes which you have already sent on the PDF, and if you have any doubts you can ask. So thank you.